Alright, that's better. Alright, so just me for the moment, and we will deal with other things soon as people show up. But today's topic came up. This is Maerlande, and greetings, my friends. Today's topic came up on the Dominion's Nexus Discord, and people were discussing the blast Fateweaving. So I thought this would be an interesting topic to demonstrate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a test game. So first step for building a test game is I turn on the debug mod, and this version is my own where the research is actually turned off. There in the debug mod you've got all of the research completed at the beginning. I turn that off so that I know that I can script exactly the spells that I want. Otherwise the AI might cast spells that you didn't really intend to have in the battle. And then for simplicity's sake I use the simple arena map. You'll note here he comments you can use map commands in the map file to set this up, but I don't generally bother, so we'll just take a moment there. Oh, okay, cool. Hi guys. Not really sure who's here at the moment, but so this is Fateweaving test. Come on back here. And we were discussing it and some of the things I'd like to get a bit of a determination about. I'm going to set both of these to human. I'm going to choose Agartha, partly because I'm trying to get a bit of a grasp on does Fateweaving work with sacred mind blasters, and the easiest one to do that is Agartha. And the opponent, just for fun, I'm going to take Vanheim, but I'm not going to use the Fateweaving Bless with Vanheim. So we can start building a pretender, and anybody with other questions feel free to toss them in either on the Twitch or in the voice chat on Dominion's Nexus. So the unit we're particularly interested in is Sacreds, so we want to have a look at the Great Olms, and I think probably we'll want to try out some ancient ones, because to get Fateweaving to propagate the unit actually has to be hit. And to get this going quickly, I'm deliberately going to pick something awake. So I need Astral. So chances are I'll go with I'm going to go here. And I'm trying to remember, I think we need 7. 7 and some Misfortune. So now we can pick the Fateweaving. And we'll go hot, because we've got some cold-blooded, so why not? And it might be nice for the purpose of this test to grab some regeneration. That'll just let us try some things out. And why not grab a little bit of, we'll just add some resistances. Now for other scales, let's see. I'm gonna kind of push this quickly, so I think we can go some death. Will want some magic, but I'm not going to be too concerned about it. So grab a little bit of order and a little bit more dominion. Oh yeah, that's right. I can drop 1 point here, save myself a bit. I don't really need mountain survival. No, I think I'll grab that extra point. Well, no, I got one more scale, so why not? Alright, this is not optimized, and it's by no means perfect, but it gives a place to start. So what am I gonna call this guy? Big Rock. That's a brewery here in Alberta. Used to really enjoy their beer. Really good stuff. So we'll call him Big Rock. Now let's make something for Vanheim. What do I want? Well, let's go Awake. And nobody's really hanging around, so I haven't got anybody to really review this with, but what should I go with for Vanheim? I'm gonna jump out and take a look and see if anybody's got anything. Which one have we got here? Is this the wiki? Why is that not showing? What the heck is... Oh, let's just check the settings for that one. Capture method. No. Okay. I don't know why that's not showing up. The wiki is not cooperating. So oh, I know why. I need to have dominions down to the bottom. There we go. Neat. So I'll jump over to the wiki page and see if anybody's got any comments on there in the guides section on Vanheim. Early Age Vanheim. Early Age Vanheim. Any guides? Any suggestions? National spells, ritual magic. No guides. Alright, let's look in the guides section. Oh, these aren't the nation. Oh, here we are. Nobody's really done a Vanheim example. So let's just back out from here. Take a look at the nation descriptions. So primarily we're going to want to go with Mounted Herdman. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just a simple stats bless. So I want water and fire and earth at least. So let's just go with that. So what do we got? Water, fire, earth. Erminsil's nature, no. Water, air, nature, not particularly. Blood fountain. I know what. I'm gonna go with this. We're going awake. Grab a little more of that. Sure. Let's just try this. Attack. And why not morale? Haven't got anything else. Go some defense. And cold climate. That's probably not going to affect anything, so I guess we'll go here. We'll grab fire shock resist. And we'll grab blood surge. Now for scales, we want a decent bit. We're going to go cold. And that's good against Agartha. I think we'll go a little bit of misfortune. We definitely need some gold, but we need it early. So sadly, we might have to go... We should have another look here. These guys are low resources, high recruitment. So we better go down a bit on sloth, go up on the order. Can we get 7? No, we can't quite get... Can we get 5? No, that doesn't really work. So this is where we're sitting. I don't really like going worse on the misfortune. So I think we'll call it that for now. And go from there. Alrighty. Yep. Good. Name. I'm not going to give him any kind of a special name. Alright, setup. I don't really care about thrones. We'll just leave them. We'll turn them... Yep. Throws don't really work on this map. So I'm not going to spend... Well, 3 throne points. Yeah, that should work. Actually, no. I'm just going to turn on to Conquer All. Because this is a test. I will allow renaming. And I'm going to turn score graphs on. I don't really need them. We'll turn story events off. Random events. We'll leave them alone. Let's go with that. So here we go. Now, let's see what we can do with Agartha. So we want to buy, we'll put this guy on research. Because it's Agartha, we kind of want to start with our Earth Meld and probably Iron Skin for various reasons. I might go with just Alteration 2 and then try getting up to Strength of Giants. So go with that. We'll make the commander a prophet. Send the scout out into the middle. Standard script, put him on retreat. And now what can we buy? So we'd like to buy a bit of a mix. So we'll start with engravers. That'll help with research and just get us a little bit of a start. We'll save some money. So we need a few. Do we want ancient ones or seal guards? We'll go with seal guards. So we haven't got a lot of resources. We have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 ohms. So that's something to start with. No, I got enough resources to get one more ancient one. There we go.
The browser is in front of your stream again.
Oh, bloody hell. Thank you. Who's here? Oh, whoever it was left. Alrighty. Anyways, back to the recruitment. Sometimes maybe I'm trying to get too fancy with these screens waving around. Good. So we'll let that one go. I'm happy with that. End the turn. Let's go do some Banheim. We'll put on some research. Do I want to profit that guy? Not particularly. I think I'm going to profit the scout. Put him on research. Definitely go for alteration for mist form. And can we afford a smith? Look, should be able to, but let's start with, okay, that's our max on resources, and we can afford a smith. So that's pretty solid. Good stuff. Let's host that. Let's just confirm we've got the blessed right, Fateweaving, regen, some resistance. Good. And we got a few ohms. We really wouldn't mind having a little more command ability. The first thing we can do is stick everybody together. I'm going to take half of them out and save them for the second party. Put the seal guards in there. I'd like 5 ohms before I head out. And besides, there's not a lot of expansion to do. So, we're still in the same situation. I don't have enough to jump up to an Earth Reader, so we'll live with another engraver. Research is going. And he could just preach for a turn. Jump back to my text chat. Yeah, no problem, Tronky. I got it now. Thanks for dropping in and telling me on voice. Too many windows, man. Too many windows. You guys should see this setup. It's pretty good. It's not pro, but it's pretty good. Dual monitor, multiple windows open. I boosted my RAM, so that's kind of nice. I was having some RAM troubles when I was trying to do this. I only had 8 gigabytes. And between this and certain games that are kind of RAM pigs. So I went out and got a sale price on another 8, and what a difference. Huge difference. Everything's just more stable. Alright, off we go. So let's see how Vanheim's doing. Now, I should be able to do a pretty darn good job with just some... No, I'll grab the next batch of them and then that smith will be finished. So we'll just hit... Put this guy on... Oh, right. I can't preach, so he won't do anything. And the research is fine, so just a couple turns to sort of get started. Alright, back to Agartha. So let's set this up. And Divine Blessing. And then I'll just let him pick his spells. He'll smite, which is good. Maybe we'll set him here. Set all these guys way up front. Do their thing. Maybe I'll grab this bunch and put them on guard commander. These guys are on fire. These guys are just on attack. And who am I going to attack? There's some archers. Well, I want to see what happens with Fateweaving against melee guys. So let's try taking out the furbolgs. We'll just see where we end up. Next step. Back to Vanheim. Alright. So for the sake of simplicity, what I do need to do is start recruiting probably Van Herses for now. That kind of cut into my recruitment, so I'm only getting 3, so I'll take 1, 2, 3, that's 6. Take 2 out. Take 6 of them along. Put this guy back down over here. 3 blesses. 2, 3, whoops. 3 cast spells. Put the Hell Herdings here on hold attack to hopefully make sure they get blessed. Put 5 of these guys on guard commander. I think I'll leave the rest of them behind. And the javelins can be back here on hold and fire. Roger that. And I guess my poor little dude can sit behind, because I don't really need him. He can come along and cast Divine Blessing. Nah, he'll wait. He'll stay behind. Alright, let's try taking out some militias. Okay, let's host that. Anybody got any further questions of any kind? Just gotta pop out here too. Okay, nothing too much happening. Let's watch a fight. Oh, son of a gun. Well, that was a flop. Good grief. We better see what went wrong. I suppose I should have bought more guys. Now I lost my profit. So we look here. So he's rolling a penetration on an 11. Magic resistance 13. Alright. Nothing too special there. And what we really want to do is see what happens when they hit the seal guards. Okay, so that guy, these guys attacked the seal guard. And he was repelled. Let's see what the seal guard says. Repel, miss. Repel, miss. Hit him for 9. And he should regenerate. Okay. Now, this guy has the cursed luck, so let's see what happens to his rolls. So the penetration roll was really high. But that was... maybe the cursed luck hasn't really kicked in yet. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm not really seeing anything definitive here. No, I'm not seeing anything definitive. But he does have cursed luck and his shield is damaged. Increased chance of getting hit and increased chance of these hits dealing high damage. Okay. So, does anybody else have cursed luck? I'm not seeing it. Just the one guy. So the only way we can really tell if it affects the ohms is if an ohm targets him. Alright, let's see. He is paralyzed, so we should be able to get a bit of a hint here on the roll. This is not easy to tell. A 3 is a statistically quite low roll for his magic resistance. The 9, yeah, there's possibilities there, but you can't particularly tell. He failed it anyways, and 2 of them hit him. So that's why he's got such paralyze. It looks like so far he's the only one with cursed luck. Any of these guys? No. Alright, so this guy's just about dead. What about the furbolgs that hit him? I don't see any curse luck. No curse luck. This guy still has the curse luck. Boy, this is tricky. I'm having a hard time really being able to make a determination here. Man, those darn seal guards are bad. Just too stupid big. So this guy, good rolls on the part of the Ohm. There's no real obvious way to make a determination there. The damage roll was 0. That's the other thing we could check. Okay, but these guys, he has curse luck. He was hit by the seal guard. The damage roll. So he parried. Oh no. I'm having a tricky time really making a determination here. This guy has the curse luck. Yeah, this is not easy to determine. Definitely not easy to determine. At least it's not easy to determine. Oh, Rovsy, how are you?
Oh.
Well, I'm having a hard time sort of being able to see if this is working. Anyways, this is just the first battle, so, and I kind of botched it. We'll give it another shot here. So, did I run out of money? I did. Son of a gun. I'm also going to have to, since I accidentally killed off my profit, I'm going to have to swap out and buy an Earth Reader. That'll work better anyways. Okay? We'll just keep this going. This is going to take a while to make a second expansion party. What about the Vanheim guys? Well, I lost a mounted herdman. That's interesting. Why did I lose him? Why did I lose him? Did he not get blessed? It looks like maybe he didn't get blessed. Well, that's always a risk. Oh, they're not sacred. What the hell was I thinking? Good grief. Look at me. Totally forgetting what I'm doing. I think we better start this entire test all over again. Well, dudes, this is what happens when you rush. Hi, Laren. This is definitely what happens when you rush. So let's try this whole silly thing all over again. Alrighty. Hi-ho-de ho-de-ho, off we go. You know what? Nope, let's just do it again. So, back to the concept. Maybe I'll just type the idea. Today's topic. Fateweaving testing. With early age, Agartha, and Vanheim. Roger, roger, roger. Alright. Human. Vanheim. Agartha. You can tell how often I play Vanheim. Like, ever. Or at least not for years. So let's go back to where we were. We just went very simply with the monolith awake. Fire shock resist. And regen. And we gotta grab a misfortune to pay for that. So we'll go fire shock resist and we'll go regen. And fate weaving. And just to finish it up, a little bit of reinvigoration. Now I have to pay for this. So we'll go hot. Just about there. Go 6 and da. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of death, a little bit of order. Don't really want to. You know what? I might skip the order and go production. Sure, why not? Alright, big rock. And for Vanheim, just repeat the same thing. Attack skill, defense skill, fire shock resist, and blood surge. Sure, why not? Oh yeah, and we can get a little bit of morale, and why not? A little more cold. Really don't need it. Oh yeah, no, it's helpful, because I didn't have cold. Fire shock and blood surge. And then to pay for it, that doesn't quite work, that's too bad. Go cold, go a little bit of misfortune, a little more misfortune, and drop some production and grab some order. So this is no kind of special magic, but it at least gets us a start. And I'm going to just change it to conquer all. Events are good. Solven's good. Alright, back to Agartha. So this time, same thing, prophetize this guy, send the scout out, put the pretender on research, set up the standard research of Earth Meld and Strength of Giants. And we'll have an Earth Reader and 2 Seal Guards and 1, 2, 3 Olms. So there's a good start. Good. And for Vanheim, it wasn't all that successful to prophetize the scout, so let's send him out. Research will start with going for mist form, under the assumption we'll... Now, where the heck are they? There's the sacreds. So we actually want these guys. And the first thing we'll get is a smith. Yeah, let's get that. Alright, host. So I think we're going to have Agartha just wait a turn. And we'll set up this sort of thing. Put 5 of these guys here on guard commander. Leave the rest of these behind. It's a little ahead of ourselves because I'm not going to send them out like this just yet. But we'll start there. And cash situation is the same. We can't quite afford an Earth Reader yet. And rather than run too much of a risk, we'll simply move on to Mannheim. I think we'll be shooting for going with a minimum of 6 of the Van Heers in a group. So this guy can just research for a turn. Same build, we'll finish that smith and go. Okay, what have we got? Malicious archers and heavy infantry. So let's give it a try here. Not totally convinced this is going to succeed, but we'll see. Now, Vanheim. I think I'm going to kind of toss everybody together. Divine Bless. Gas spells. Put these guys in the front. Have the jazz. And we've got some Ko-Onis Heavy infantries and slingers, heavy infantries and slingers. I'm not totally convinced this is going to go terribly well, but what the heck. Let's give it a shot. And the recruitment we will get, for now, we'll get a Vanhurst. We'll worry about the other stuff later. How did we do? Absolutely just fine. So let's see if we can get a bit better feel for the Fateweaving working. Alright. Nope. Nope. Nobody's hit. Oh, there's a fate. There's a cursed luck. Alright, so to repel, that does not look like the Fateweaving applied to the penetration roll of the repel. Does not look like it. One guy already died. So this guy got hit. Looks like that guy got hit by something. Hit him for 1 point of damage. Well, not really seeing it. What about this guy? He's paralyzed but doesn't have curse luck. This guy has curse luck. Seal guard missed. A penetration roll. Okay, that distinctly looks like an attack by an Olm. The blast was not affected by the penetration roll, was not affected by the Fateweaving. It sure is how it looks like to me, if I'm reading that correctly. Don't know if anybody else can see it. Alrighty.
That is what it looks like.
Yeah, that is what it looks like, isn't it? Because that was the discussion we were having, is whether or not it applies to the penetration rolls. Definitely looking like that's a no.
Well, I personally feel like you should probably start the test with just like a 1 versus 1 situation.
One unit versus one unit? I'll do that once I've cleared a few indies, and we'll have one of those in the middle. Yeah, I'm good with that idea. I agree with you. I'm kind of just playing around a little bit here. Well, I was thinking maybe you're thinking 1 melee versus 1 melee, but I'd also like to have 1 Olm, so I've got to actually let the seal guard get hit to try to apply the Fateweaving, right?
Right.
So I'd have to have 1 Olm and 1 seal guard. Yeah, that went fine. So once we clear the little side things, we'll start setting up some battles in the middle. Pour myself another tea. So what's on your action plate today, Roughsy?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Quiet day.
Pretty much.
Did I not send them anywhere? Huh, I didn't. Oh well. Should have probably done that. I'll send them back, get some more dudes. And I can now get an Earth Reader. I need a couple of those around anyways. Oh, for some reason it stopped recruiting. Can't get another, so we'll go back to this. Good. Woohoo! Lost a bunch of surf warriors, but he's doing fine. Well, we're almost done the expansion, so now we can start going with Van Jarls. Do I want to grab a Vanadrot? Let's see, a lot of reason for it. Yeah, what the heck. maybe I'll want to test something else. Still can't afford. Not quite. Still can't afford more Van Heers. Alright, let's crank this up. I think I'm just going to leave all the pale ones behind. Oops, wrong guys. There we go. Let's try that. Take out these first. Keep the oh, I've run out of money. All right. Bum 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 ba-dum. Brigands. Whoa. What fun. Well, we haven't got anything too special going on, so let's just finish this up. That was very straightforward. So we might be able to have a little more. Kind of hoping to get a chance to see an ohm mind blasting somebody with a little protection. So that guy has Fateweaving, has Curse Luck. This guy is just gonna die. None of these guys have Curse Luck. So these guys might not be tough enough for this to be much of a measure. Again, it's hard to see much. Damage roll versus protection backwards. The pale one missed. I don't know. Tricky. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Yeah, these guys just aren't tough enough to get much of a measure. It's going to be better to get a measure once we get to the Van Heers fighting the Seal Guards. Alright, I think we've learned everything we're going to learn there. We'll send these guys back. Oh, I should buy a little bit of province defense. And everything's proceeding along. I think I'm going to swap for one more Seal Guard now. And I think I'll swap for another Earth Reader. Pretty soon we're going to start making oracles, but it's not a critical issue. And that went fine. So Vanheim's expansion is completed by some province defense. And send these guys back to the capital. And in the capital, we can now buy one more Van Heer. That's going to be about all we're going to get for resources. Yeah, a lot of unrest there, but I think I got an event. Alright, host. And we'll just kind of crank this whole thing up a little bit higher. You should be able to quite easily take the heavy cavalry now. Don't have any gold left. We're out of holy points, so we're good. Vanheim. We can add one more. Now I'm going to swap out to getting some Van Jarls. I could go on research. Where's my research? Research queue is empty. We'll go construction. And nice to get some air. Offensive air magic. Good to go. Somebody's talking to me. Believe I'm done. I'd answer a question. Oh, we're up to 5 people watching. So, who's here? Does this thing actually update? I can't tell. Another TV viewer. Yeah, I can't tell if this is my correct current list of watchers. Maybe I need to take a moment and take a look actually on Twitch and on my channel. Just make sure my volume's off. What does it show here? Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Some of you guys I know really well. Some of you guys not so much. Oh, I meant to host. I'm all done here. Silver mark. Okay, well that went well. Now I don't know if we're gonna be able to see a little bit more with heavy cavalry wailing away on the seal card, but let's have a look. It might show us a little bit more. They might actually live long enough to tell us something. Okay, one of these guys should be cursed. Those two both are. We can't tell much yet. So I'm not quite sure if I can determine if the curse luck starts applying the turn after. It must have to start the next round after the hit, because they just hit. So that guy's got cursed luck.
It's hard to negate MR roll, it looks like.
The cursed luck?
Yeah.
Which one do you think it is? You're looking at this
Penetration roll 16 plus 8 versus a magic resistance 10 plus 4. What else would that be?
I thought that was the repel. But no, that doesn't
Repel
make any
does not
sense.
roll versus MR.
Yeah, no, of course. Okay, so that's the application of the Fateweaving. Yeah, good call. Well, what's their base magic resistance is 10. You think that's hard to resist or just normal to resist?
Well, it's 16, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
16 cards
You're right.
will
Yeah, good.
resist.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you spotted that. I'd looked at that before and I missed it. Excellent. So it's hard to resist the application of the cursed luck. And then it looks like if it applies, it'll apply the following round, not the blah. So he failed to resist there, so it applied. And this guy, it also applied, so there should be 2 of them. Well, the other guy died though. This guy is also cursed. Same thing, so it's pretty hard to resist. There's a lucky roll, an 18. What about these guys? No, that one's cursed. Same thing. Now, have we determined if they have to do damage or just hit? Damage roll was 5 points.
I just found a defense roll of 6.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Well, this guy missed. Yeah, but he missed, but he still had to fight off the curse luck. So you don't have to hit. You just have to try. So those are some interesting pieces of information. It's a magic resist negates hard, and you don't have to actually get a hit or do damage. It looks like you just have to swing. If I'm reading this correctly. That guy hit for 4. The hoof hit for 0, but he had to do the penetration roll. One over here. This guy hit for 7. He hit with the hoof. This guy hit, but no damage and still had to roll. So almost all these guys are cursed now. Let's see if... Oh, a couple of them got past. Just watching to see if I can learn anything more else from this.
So I think the supposition that it's that it's 2d6 minus 1d6 is accurate.
Mm-hmm. That does seem correct.
Because I found a defense roll that was basically defense skill plus 0.
Right, you can't get that. The minimum roll you can get with
a 2d6.
or with just 1d6.
Or a 1d6.
That's correct. Yeah, Loggy must be right that that testing in Dominions 4 that it's 2d6 minus a 1d6 is correct. Because I had heard, not necessarily definitive, that it simply removed the dice so all rolls were 1d6. So I guess the questions we want to know and we're trying to answer is, what is the penetration roll? And appears, I'm going to type this out. MR negates hard. And then, does it affect sacred ranged? Or the penetration of Mind Blast? And that looks like a no. The other one is, which rolls does it affect? We know it affects damage. We can see that. But does it affect defense? Have you seen any examples of that, Rovsy?
It does affect defense.
Does it? Okay. Okay, so we're pretty confident. So it affects 3 things we know. It affects attack, defense, and protection. That should be basically it. So if we look here at this Great Ohm blasting this guy, no, he did it with a life drain attack.
Does it affect attack rolls?
I should say, well, that was what, if you read the description, that's implied. Let's read the description again. Oh, no, we can't see it here. We have to jump back out to a make pretender screen. I don't know. I think the answer to that question is still not entirely clear, whether or not it affects attack rolls. The attack rolls of the unit that has been affected by it. Alright, let's see this guy's attack. Attack with Light Lance was repelled. Okay. He hit. Why am I not seeing his attack roll? Oh, there we go. Oh, Seal Guard missed. Repel. There we go. Attack roll 15 versus defense roll 14.
Yes, but
It's not telling us.
that doesn't say anything.
No, well, if his defense roll is... Oh, but he just... Yeah, if his attack roll is 15, you can't get that on a 2d... Well, it would be very hard on a 2d6 minus 1d6.
What, a 15?
Yeah.
Not really.
That'd be an awfully lucky roll. I guess not
No,
insanely
it-
lucky.
It would be
2d6...
pretty standard, right?
2d6 minus 1d6? Oh, but we didn't add his attack. I'm forgetting.
Yeah, he has
Sorry,
normal attack.
we had
skill
10. Okay, so that's only a 5
Yes.
roll.
He rolls 5, but that's not...
That's pretty low, yeah.
I mean, it's low for 2d6, but it's not impossible.
No,
There's plenty of combinations that could hit.
yeah,
5.
absolutely. So we can't see anything Okay, that one we're not seeing anything too interesting. Let's look at this. Attack roll, attack roll. So there's a pretty low attack roll.
Let's see, that's a
14, but not super low.
15, a 14, and a 17.
Yeah. So far I'm not seeing much indication one way or the other. Those are all...
You want to see something that's like 10 or 11.
Yeah, if we see a 10 or 11, that would be the giveaway, wouldn't it? So I'm not... And of course it's got to be somebody who actually... Well, and see, there's a 26.
There's a 12.
A 12, yeah.
12 is pretty low.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but... Oh, but look here. Oh, but that guy might not have the... That guy wasn't under... The second Heavy Cavalry did not have Cursed Luck yet, because there's the Cursed Luck roll.
Well, the Cursed Luck is at the top. It rolls so that it refreshes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Penetration
Okay, that doesn't tell us
5,
anything.
And that lasts over 5 rounds.
Which square was that? This square. Oh, it's only the one guy.
Yeah.
Oh, but the other guy was there and he died. So he still counts in the V. Does the pale one wipe this guy out? Or one of them. Something wiped somebody out. I don't know. This is not easy.
Keep looking. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It
I
is.
think that's the same guy.
You might have to do this to really get a definitive answer. You might have to do this with the debug command line switch turned on and then grind your way through the log, which I'm not any good at, but there's an attack roll 12, so that's another statistically pretty low roll. Now, let me just, I gotta jump out here, grab a probability table. So let me grab a probability of 2d6. So at 2 is 2.78%, 1 in 36. So seeing 2 of those in one thing, you know, they're not dependent on each other, but the chances of seeing 2 of them in the same bunch of groups does suggest that we've got something lowering that roll. But it would be far more definitive on these Heavy Cavalry if we saw, like you said, a 10 or an 11 on the attack roll. So I'm not seeing one so far. It's interesting stuff. So are you running your own test at the same time?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, cool, good. I'm not an expert on testing by any means, other than I do a lot of testing of one-on-one matchups for critical games, but I don't do this sort of mechanics testing. There's other people who are better at it, and I prefer to sort of be an amalgamator of information and then point people where to look. It's just what I tend to do. Well, I should have let that play through a little bit longer. Now I'm going to jump back quick here. Okay, nobody in chat has brought up any really critical issues yet. We'll zoom this along. I'm just going to hit the end key a bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm still looking at stuff.
Well, I'm trying to find a damage roll for somebody under Cursed Luck hit by a Mind Blast, because I did have people say they're very confident that the Mind Blast, and it should effectively increase the damage. But the trouble is the Mind Blasters are not generally shooting at the guys that are hitting. Here should be one. Resisted. Yeah. Definitely not seeing...
I mean, I'm seeing pretty normal rolls for attack and damage.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I know there are people that just swear that this is a amazingly great bless. I've never actually used it, partly because I don't fully understand it, and there's a lot of blesses you can use that. Plus, I don't like playing Misfortune very much, so it's not my favorite way to play.
I don't know. I don't see anything conclusive.
Yeah, in terms of is this good or...
Well, in terms of how it affects you attacking the person after you have cursed luck.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
It's
No.
looking pretty normal overall.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything definitive.
It's hard to test without like a debug mod on so that you can actually see
I think so. And
the rolls. So
I may
you
have
probably
to...
want
I may
to
have
get
to
into
learn
it.
to use grep. Arctic Shark, welcome. What brings you here? We met before? Boy, my users in chat thing is not much good for anything. What a weird thing. So we are... Rovsi's a guest here in voice, and he's running an independent test. We're both trying to examine... Maybe we'll just back up for a bit. Oh, you've watched lots of Lucid's videos, yeah. Lucid and I collaborate a little bit, a few times. We should be doing another collaboration right away from a game we played together as teammates. And I've known Lucid quite a long time. Glad you dropped by. So we can have a quick look here. Let's just review what I did for blesses here again. So I went very simple on the Vanheim. I couldn't tell you if this is a great bless or boring or dull, but it's good enough for this purpose. So just double resist and some defense skill, attack skill, and some blood surge. Pretty straightforward. And then popping out to the Agartha. This is deliberately the Fateweaving. So we got Fateweaving, regeneration, and fire shock resist. Again, very straightforward. And given this is just a little two-player map with two humans, well, one human pretending he's two people. So my army's coming back. I'm still recruiting what I need. I should probably grab another seal warrior. Not making a huge pile of money. I probably have enough ohms to do anything I really want. So maybe I'll turn the ohms off. I should save some money. Nope, that didn't work. We'll do it that way. Alright, I gotta take a brief, so I need a 3-minute break. Okay, I think it's time to sort of set up something between these two armies. So let's just put the biggest wad of all of it in a blob. And from there, we'll see what we can get. Actually, you know what? For the sake of being able to use formations and things, I'm going to grab a couple... Sorry, I'm going to grab an Ancient Lord. Yeah, way I can set up some formations. So I gotta turn off. Get another one? Not quite. What can I buy? Just buy a scout. For the time being, we'll do that to just get this set up a little bit differently. What have we got happening here? Nothing too brilliant. Definitely a little shy on resources, but we can create the guys we want. Should be good enough. So I think we'll set up to get these guys into the middle so Agartha can then go attack them. And this guy can use formations. So, oh, he can't. Maybe we will put them on the big guy. That way we can set up a line formation. This guy can just be on cast spells. Well, let him cast Mistform and whatever the heck he casts. I don't particularly care. So let's put these two towards the middle. Good. I don't really want any add much in the way of magic to all of this. So let's move the mob onto the big guy. Put them on hold. We'll set them up as a line in the front. And similarly, we'll give him the Olms. Put the Olms with him. Add these extra couple of seal guards. And I think we'll give him some bodyguards. Okay, so we'll send those two into the middle. Keep up the recruitment going. Turn these guys off. I gotta turn off some expensive stuff. So I really do want to start saving. I'm gonna turn off all the sacred recruitment for the time being. Just in case I want to test something else. Right now, for the setup on the other side, let's just pretend that I'm on a defensive. Add a little bit of province defense. Move these guys just behind the province defense. Alright, now for the sake of, if I want to be able to repeat this, I'm going to drop out to the save game and do a backup version of this guy. Where are we? Fateweaving test 2. So I'm just doing a little bit of manipulation of the folders for the moment. Alright, what do we see? Well, look at that. Holy cow. That did not go well. Not at all. Yep, that distinctly did not go well. So I wonder why.
Because you were fighting Avengers.
Well, definitely in this case, in this matchup, Agartha versus Vanheim is not a great option for Agartha. I'll tell you that. Huh. And almost all of them are sitting there paralyzed. I guess not for long enough. Good grief, look at that. So we got one here.
It's just fan ears, man. That's all it.
got hit by that van here got hit by the... I am doing some testing of Fateweaving, yes, GoFlux. I mean, this is not robust, carefully designed testing. This is, somebody mentioned it half an hour before the start of the stream, and I thought, hey, there's a good topic for today, because I didn't have anything better in mind. And then I thought, well, you know, somebody mentioned, does Fateweaving have an effect on the penetration of Mind Blast from things like ohms, sacred Mind Blasters? And I thought, well, that'll be interesting, and I think we've satisfactorily decided that no, it does not. The other one that's still a little unsure is, does it affect the attack roll of somebody who has been hit with it? So that guy's got Fateweaving. So there's a bunch of them. So where's the attack roll? See, there's a 20, a 41. Good God, what's their base? Base is 16 and 15. 41.
It's a pretty high roll there.
That's insanely high.
He did not have Fateweaving on him at the time.
No,
But yeah,
I don't think he
rolled
did.
like 20.
Yeah.
25 actually.
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty amazing roll. What do we got here?
That's like the blood slave kicking the dragon for like
Mhm.
40 points of damage roll right there.
Oh, that's the same batch I had. What about these guys? So there's an attack of 21. So, oh, that's the seal guard hitting the van here. What about backwards?
The other one is a 28 attack roll and a
Oof.
9 damage added to damage. But to be fair, he's also berserk, so that's gonna
Right.
inflate the attack roll, right? So he has 24 attack.
Oh, wait.
Did he kill the seal guard?
So he only rolled a
Yeah,
4
so he-
on the roll.
So he has a -4, so he got a 20. Because he killed him and then the blood surge activated, right?
Roger.
So it's negative... Actually, I think it's just -3 to the attack skill in reality. So he got like a 7.
His roll, you think, is a 7. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he wouldn't have had the blood surge active when he attacked.
Right. Good grief.
And that adds 3 damage.
Well, maybe
so...
I set up the wrong, for this purpose, for the testing, going with plus attack and blood surge makes it even harder to try to get a measure.
Yeah. I'm trying
Maybe-
it with flagellants because I figure they're easy to spam and it's easy to see.
Yeah, that's probably a good
attack and
idea.
defense, but the issue is they're all afflicted.
Oh, right. So then you got each one has a different... Possibly they're all different. Yeah, this is...
Right.
It's a little harder. I mean, we could brainstorm... Well, the only reason to pick Gartha was to... We've at least, I think, quite conclusively determined that it has no effect on the magic penetration roll of Mind Blast. And that fits with the fluff test for Fateweaving. That it affects hitting and being hit, or being hit and damage. So it's basically a melee thing. We did also determine, I think conclusively, that you don't have to successfully hit, you just have to swing. Would you agree?
Yeah. I wonder if it would affect, like, elemental damage. And then I have also heard
From,
that it makes...
From like an elemental blast or...
From a spell. Anything.
Well, I've heard that it affects all kinds of damage once they've gotten
Yeah.
Curse Luck.
Including fatigue from auras.
I've heard it... A lot of people say it has a huge effect on auras. Because their resistance roll, or their protection roll against an aura, even with a resistance, is intensely affected. But that's kind of hard to measure in this test. Well, I've sort of thinking I've reached as much as I'm going to learn from this test. We can have a look here. Well, that guy doesn't have Cursed Luck, and the rest of them are all paralyzed, so how the heck do you tell? So we got some pretty good attack rolls from these Van Heers, although that one's only at 22. The other thing would probably make this easier is if you had size 6 guys, so that, and not so many attacks, it'd be easier to see what's going on. Alright, I think I'm gonna exit this test. Think about something else. Does anybody watching in the chat have a topic? Anything they want to ask? In the interim, I'm going to jump over. I do have some topics that have been previously brought up, so I'll open that up and see. So we had a... That's what people ask about do Nabah, but I know I might want to save that for when the guys who like Nabah are here. I don't see any of them that have been asking about that. So there's an interesting question was asked of me is, what's your strategy for scouts? And what do you do about scouts? The part of what the role is, that it's 2d6 minus 1d6, which was solved in Dominions 4 Go Flux, that is generally agreed, and Logie this morning brought that up. The question nobody was totally clear on is, which roles does it apply to? Everybody was confident it applied to protection roles. The debate was, does it apply to magic penetration roles? And does it apply to attack and defense? Pretty sure it applies to defense. But we weren't able to get a really clear statement of does it apply to attack. So for the sake of, what have I got available to sort of highlight the use of scouts? Are any of my games really appropriate? This one's ended. It might be worth a quick look. Yeah. It sure doesn't look like it applies to the MR of something like Mind Blast from the Ohms. That was pretty clear it didn't work. But as Ravsi said, people are very, very confident it works on any kind of damage roll, including elemental damage. The other thing that did come up that looks very, very clear is you don't have to hit or do damage for the guy attacking to get the Cursed Fate onto him. Even if he misses his attack roll, he seems to get it. And that looked quite clear. So I thought maybe we just pop out to a game we just finished as an example of, techniques for scouting. And in a way, I kind of like this one because this is a Monkey Nation, Patala. There is some relatively good reasons to spend 4 turns on, say, Mercata Scouts. First off, they're a little cheaper than independent Scouts, and they have better stealth. So, not too shabby at all, because most of the time you don't care what protection or weapons or anything a Scout has. Yeah, Ravsi's playing around with Flagellants as a way to apply it as a debuff. So probably Agartha, except for the fact that I wanted to test Ohms, Agartha wasn't a great choice for the test. But we can go back to that for a second. So let's just jump back to that test for a second, since we're talking it out. Where are we here? Fateweaving test 2. So pretty simply, if we look at Agartha, 40 gold, giant size 4, 1 per square, is not a great way to apply the Fateweaving Blast or the Curse Luck onto the opponent. Something dirt cheap sacreds that you can have that are smaller, so more per square, is going to apply it a lot more often and a lot quicker.
I think the key is, and something that a lot of people sometimes forget is that Fateweaving is one of the few, maybe even the only bless in the game where it benefits more than just the sacreds that use it.
That's correct.
And that every ally who is trying to do damage to the person who has cursed luck has a bonus in attacking them.
Yes, so
there's two ways to think about it. Either it's really good for one beefy guy to have it, because you can take a lot of damage at everybody who's trying to kill him.
Hey, thanks.
Cursed luck, right?
Somebody just followed.
Including like, say you have Fate Weaving up and somebody casts Earthquake, right?
Right.
Afterwards. Any mages that have cursed luck on them, when you cast the Earthquake, you're suddenly going to be hit a lot harder.
Oh, yes, sorry. I thought you mean the ones that have cursed luck on them, not the sacreds blessed with Fate Weaving. Because blessing your Magi with Fate Weaving isn't going to help you unless they get whacked.
Well, what happens is if you have like a beefy thug or sacred or something, and somebody casts a spell at them and they get cursed luck on them, and then you cast Earthquake or something like that, you can kill Magi or archers or what have you all the way in the back a lot easier.
Absolutely.
This is an example, but another way to think of it is I have 50 sacreds, on Nazca, and I have like 50 sacreds in every single battle, and even when I'm raiding, I have 50 condors flying around.
Yeah.
Right? I can apply Fate Weaving to everybody that I fight.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. No, they have to hit you. So you can't apply it to Magi throwing spells at you.
Sacreds are generally easy to do damage to, or easy to swing at.
I realize that, but I think there's no way for it to be applied unless you swing. You have to swing at the blessed thing. Like, it doesn't count if you shoot it, and it doesn't count if you throw a spell at it. You've got to swing at it in melee. Right? To apply the curse look to yourself. So it'll only help you kill things that are doing melee. It's not going to make your kill speed higher of anything in the back line. Confirmed whether it applies to being hit by auras. No, I didn't. I haven't set up a situation where that could be confirmed. Not in this test. I don't have any auras. So that's a different test, easily set up. I've got a few more minutes. I wonder if that's worth. We could do that. We could jump out and change up this test. I mean, arguably, it might be easier to do that with just not bothering with having the dual nations. So, who do we want to... Well, let's try somebody with lots of cheap sacreds. Maerlande, I guess. Go for flagellants. So maybe I'll go with Silent Seas and we'll just see what its effect on... So, Fate Test 3. Middle Age, Maerlande? Sure, why not? Where are they here? And then I'll just add a couple random nations, because they've got flaggies. Alright, so, what can we grab? We kind of want astral and, say, water. That'd be perfect. Let's just try this. Cheap and easy. Simple test. Where are we? Chill aura. And it does have some. That'll be good enough. We'll go awake. Give them some scales of some kind. Good enough. And go. Yeah, it might be really good against Abyssians and Niflheim. I would think it would be pretty darn good against anything cheap. So who do we want to profitize? Oh, well, what the heck. This guy will just wait.
It might be pretty good on early Age Abyssia, since they have both an aura and a fire shield.
That might be. They have a built-in
Low
fire
levels of
shield.
resistance would normally give you protection versus both of those things.
Can these guys lead? They can't. Good. Buy one of those. Alright. So we'll get some more flagellants before we get too carried away. And maybe some... Oh, we can buy an expensive mage. Not that it really matters, but... How many flagellants are we going to need for this to even count? Quite a few, I imagine. I'm just going to quickly throw this guy out there. So we'll just stick these flagellants way the heck up front. Bring along another guy. We'll put the pikemen off to the side. Let the crossbow shoot. Alright, let's see what happens. Oh, that doesn't work. What do we got here? Militias and heavy infantry. Let's try that. Alright, so we lost, but let's see what happened. Wait a minute, didn't he cast it? Come on. Only blessing? Oh, I sent the wrong guys. Good grief. Alright, waste of time. I gotta start this all over again. I forgot to send the scout. Well, for these purposes, I'll just run through a couple turns. Oh, I don't need that guy. We better buy some more guys. Which ones? Outswords? Sure, why not? Actually, I don't want to buy that guy. Let's just buy somebody that's not sacred. Come on, I want somebody who's not sacred. Can anybody who's not sacred? None? That guy. Good enough. He's only one commander point? No. Oh, I got a spare. Alright, we'll buy some assassins. Just for the heck of it. Alright, this should be enough flagellants to actually do something. We'll just make sure we send along the scout. This guy's on hold attack, hold and stay behind. And... yeah, we'll just put these guys on guard commander for the time being. Alright, let's see what happens if I do this. Okay, I lost a lot of flagellants. Let's just see what the results were. Okay. So these guys have the Fateweaving. Some of them have gotten hit by Cursed Fate. Cold damage. Can't see too much there. Give it one more round. Okay, so they have it on them. Those guys don't. pretty hard to tell. I'm not seeing an indication that these rolls for the protection rolls against the aura are not showing an indication of anything too special. They're very average rolls. Very average rolls. Let's give it another round. Yeah, so they're rolling 6s, 9s, 7s. I'm not... Oh, but... Well, that guy had some... He had curse luck. Now we've kind of run out. Alright, well maybe to really see things we're going to have big, tough sacreds. Well, I'm really torn. This is not the easiest test I've ever tried to do. Have you learned anything else interesting, Ralphie?
No, I moved to some of my turns since I missed one.
Okay.
So
I think I might be... I have to think about this some more. So I think I might be done with trying to deal with fate weaving while streaming at the same time for today. I have to think about this some more. I'll write up some kind of a note of what I've learned so far. Well, that's not crows and lions. That's not what fate weaving does. We do know what it does. If you're cursed, if you get cursed luck, some of your rolls change from 2d6 to 2d6 minus 1d6. That's quite proven from some testing and some work, I think reverse engineering. The question is, which rolls does it apply to, and which types of things does it apply to? So we were trying to see if it applied to damage from fatigue. We're very sure it applies to defense rolls and to protection rolls, which in effect amounts to a percentage reduction in protection. Yeah, basically that's the net result. It's not the mechanic, but that's the net result. So overall it's just more damage. But there is the other part of it. It is supposed to be a better chance to hit, and hopefully you have a lower chance to be hit, because not only is the guy trying to hit you using a lower attack rating, he's also using a lower defense rating, or in effect. So there's a difference between what the mechanic does and how the net effect comes out. Well, I'm gonna open up to ask about anybody got any questions. I've got about half an hour left on my schedule, and I do have to go to an appointment, so if you've got a question, bring it up in the next few minutes, or I might end the stream a little bit early, because I've sort of covered what I wanted to talk about without more preparation, and I can't really do preparation very efficiently while I'm talking, or at least, I mean, I'm sure there's people who are more skilled at doing more than one thing at a time, but I'm already doing about 5 things at a time, so. Yeah, that's pretty much right, GoFlux. It's still not definitive. I am very confident, though, that it does not apply to magic penetration rolls. That I'm confident of. Well, Illwinter doesn't generally answer questions about mechanics. When I say generally, I mean sometimes they have jumped into discussions of mechanics, but not very darn often at all. That's a very rare event. Most of the time, they just kind of repeat, maybe if anything, they repeat what the lore text says or the description text says. And off you go from there, and that's about all you get. So that's pretty standard. But just so there's something to look at, I'm going to pop back to this discussion a little bit on scouts and some of the things that I feel about effective use of scouts. So I got to make sure everything's on, and that we can see scouts. Looks like most of my scouts have died off for various reasons. Why is flags and forts names? Well, I'm not sure that's really the case, GoFlux, because sometimes Illwinter has jumped in the past and recently to be very clear about how a mechanic works, and sometimes not. There's I can link to people interested. Let me find it. This is my favorite example of discussing with Illwinter how mechanics works. And I keep this link around all the time. So you'll see Christopher here talking away. Laren, you stop that now. You stop that now, or I'm going to call my mom. We are not going to discuss any P3s, non-aggression pacts today. Someday I'm going to be willing to have a discussion of codes of honor and ethics and sportsmanship in Dominions, but today's not the day. Non-aggression pact. I don't know what the 3 means. Smartasses. See, to me, a nap is what's going to happen once I log off. I'm going to have my lunch, and I'm going to go read a book, and I'm going to relax. That's a nap. A non-aggression pact is that thing that France and Germany and Russia and all those idiots in 1914 did. One of the silliest. I mean, if you're a history buff, and see, you got me going. Oh. If you're a history buff, you look around and you go, the use of the diplomatic term, non-aggression pact, was one of the crappiest kinds of diplomacy around. And then all those overlapping non-aggression pacts. So you got, the assassination of Franz Ferdinand in Serbia throws everything crazy throughout all of Europe. And of course, all of them had built battleships, and I could go on and on. By the way, if this interests you, read this book. One of my very favorite authors for history. So if this interests you, read her. For a historical perspective on the diplomatic concept of non-aggression pact. Yes, see? This is exactly... Okay, so we're actually in this game. And this is a good example, and I suppose, okay, I've got this open, so Liren had a good point. Liren played on one of the teams, the Bigland team, so here he is. And they announced on turn 43 that they were canceling all of their non-aggression pacts. And my interpretation was that meant on turn 46, with the non-aggression pact 3, that I could send orders to attack on 46. He meant I could make the orders to attack on 46 to happen on 47. So I jumped the gun, simply because it was not entirely clear, this whole business of interpretation. I should have known we'd end up in this discussion. Now, the gentlemanly way to deal with it was say, oh, yeah, okay, I misunderstood, or we had a disagreement, and nobody got mad, and there was no, I'm not going to forget about it, because it's a perfect example of one of my arguments about when doing diplomacy. Make sure you clarify your terms very, very clearly. And if you're going to use something like non-aggression pacts, like state it out. What do you really mean? And because different people write it different ways, some places seem to have a formal definition, some don't. And then you get into, okay, so what counts as, no, I don't believe they should be binding, not at all. I don't believe any diplomacy should be binding. But if a host or an admin wants to set within that game a rule that all diplomacy is binding, go ahead, because I'm completely in support of each game can have its own set of internal rules. And I also think that trying to set rules for like a whole Discord or all of Steam or all of the community across the world amongst its dozens of Discords and different forums is something you can't do. So don't even try. So I'm a firm believer that when you host a game, and I host some, you set up a set of guidelines or rules, and one of my most important ones is don't go AI unless you ask. You can go AI if you think you should. Just be sure you ask the admin, because you can screw with other people unintentionally. So, those are some of the my own code of honor. Similarly, one of my code of honor kind of things is I try to keep this stream G-rated. But if somebody slips up, I'm not going to lose my cool over it. It's just, I just try to do that. It's not required, because just about everybody who might watch this is an adult. Another code of honor is, see, I prefer to do diplomacy on a mutual self-interest basis, so we both get something good out of it. And when that no longer really works, then it's probably time not to be allies. So I like trades. I like, let's set a border. Oh, well, you'd like this province? Okay, but it's really nice. I like it. Could you give me a payment? Or recently in 2 different games, I can show you an example. I have, we're kind of getting into the business of diplomacy and all the complications involved. But here's kind of a nice example. I have to grab a couple of turns, so just grab 3 of them here. I'm just shuffling away in my turn archives because I keep this humongous pile of archives for doing videos. So I'll change out a game. I'm just going to show an example. We talked about this a couple days ago on the stream. So here's a diplomatic agreement that has nothing to do with non-aggression pacts. It has nothing to do with alliances. Well, it does have something to do with non-aggression pacts, because I negotiated. Hang on a sec. There we go. Got to remember the password. So I'm just going to show this example because I think it's a very interesting one. Right, here we are. Okay, so I had a non-aggression pact 3, NAP 3 with Agartha, and we had been allies. Now, at one point in time, I raided him accidentally, or not remembering, because we had had a talk in private Discord, and I'd agreed to maintain a non-aggression pact. No, I'm not going to show that, unless you really want me to there, Laren. I could get into it, but no particular reason. No, I'm going to show an interesting example of diplomacy. So what happened here was I had a non-aggression pact with Agartha. I was Nazca. I was stuck in this corner, and it looked like man had a good chance to get a throne win because the distribution of thrones was a little wonky. I was allied with Scleria, and I had non-aggression with Agartha. So I had no way, I had two ways possibly to get to Man. One was astral travel from my southmost province here to one of his northmost provinces at the extreme range of astral travel at 25 pearls per army, plus only a single mage. Instead, he said he was getting exhausted and couldn't really do a proper job of the game. I asked, can I travel over your land? So I negotiated a payment to borrow some of his provinces to make a corridor so I could get here. And so I gave him a payment pretty much every turn of kind of the gold and gem values of the provinces I was borrowing. So there's a win-win kind of negotiation, right? He doesn't have to jump into a war he didn't really feel he could manage. For a small cost in gold and gems, I'm able to transport a significant army. So I'm using that as an example of other forms of diplomacy besides the very simple form of just saying, hey, you want to have an NAP? Or do you agree to NAP 3? Oh, by the way, Laren, I don't know if you've seen my past streams that are some of them on YouTube, but I'm not adverse to showing when I make a big mess either, because I did a big 2-hour stream on rush defense, and I showed the example of where I survived, kind of, but I also, I got killed by turn 40. So I'm not adverse to showing my errors, because I think we learn as much from errors as we do from successes, especially in something like this. And I'm not one of those super meticulous players, in that I don't absolutely check everything. Although, depends as well on how motivated I am. This game I'm showing here is good for an example of diplomacy, but not great for an example of motivation, because I was a sub starting in turn 40, and I never felt a great vested interest, so I kind of just played around. I mean, I took it seriously, and I fought hard and stuff, but... So, yeah. But anyways, Liren here in our group, he was my opponent in this Blame Liren Renegade game, of course. But it sure wasn't his fault how this game turned out. It was a pretty good game, all things considered. But I just picked this one up because of the fact that it's an example of a case where I would spend some fort turns recruiting scouts. A couple other cases where I would spend fort turns is if I was an underwater nation. In this game, well, simply put, I sent attacks here at Miquelon in this area, and he counterattacked, as you can see. There he is. The problem was, after I did that, my teammate took his last throne by going the other way. So, yeah, that really isn't a major mistake, Liren. We're all gonna be in a situation of going, okay, we're guessing which way the other guy's gonna go. What's he gonna try? What maneuvers he's gonna make? I don't know any player that gets that right all the time. Strategic mistake, maybe, yes, but we also had some other options. I mean, you want to talk about strategic mistake. When we failed to take this independent throne, because we really should have sent a little more stuff at it, that was a strategic mistake. Because we could have ended the game in turn 43 instead of waiting till this is 49. No, it would have been game over. And that was even before you guys had canceled and said, okay, let's fight this out. Yeah, so, exactly. And so missing it is, it's a mistake, I guess, but trying to, I mean, this is a busy map. There's a lot going on here. We've still got 9 nations. Everybody's pretty close to the same size. There's these gigantic stacks and mobs and blobs bouncing around. I mean, another one would be, let's say that down here, we were talking about it, and we made a mistake in not swapping this throne back to Utgard, who could actually realistically get troops to it, because Zabalba held it so he could make forts. Well, one of the things we did in this game is I took all this water and then turned it back to Zabalba so he could put forts up. But in hindsight, I should have kept one fort or lab, because my ability to gateway in huge reinforcements was much higher. So given, once we saw people trying to take our thrones, this one and this one, I could have done a gateway to here, and then from there I could have gatewayed down here and brought huge piles of amphibious troops into position. So, you know, perfection's wonderful to strive for, but I don't spend a lot of time going, oops, I didn't get it perfect. So I'm still not really jumping into the discussion.
Is that a one game though? The game looks like it's over.
It's
You
over.
can see that much.
Yeah, this is last turn. Yeah, we won. Because we took the last throne we needed. Pretender was... Who was Pretender? Why am I drawing a blank here? Zabalba, right? Nope. Utgard was Pretender. Denzel, yeah. Denzel Washington was Pretender. And our bless was... Let me see. Where are we here? Oh, I don't have a... Never did build a temple there. This is a goofy bless. This is a terrible bless. I would never do this bless again. That charged bodies is underwhelming. Very underwhelming.
Yes, I've always found charged bodies to be pretty weak.
It is very underwhelming. We took it because our team was
It's
greatly more experienced than the other 3 teams, and we said we would
Yes.
try something wonky.
It just doesn't do that much.
It doesn't do hardly
No.
anything. I mean, we had good scales, and that's fine. I don't know why I'm so hot. Oh yeah, because Utgard took heat, so that Zabalba and I, both being hot nations, would have good gold. It was a fun game though. We learned some lessons. Definitely never set... The issue with charged bodies, you get 1 whack of damage the first time the sacred is hit, and then nothing. And that 1 whack of damage just doesn't do enough to be worth the points you spend on it. I mean, I don't remember. We'd have to... Here, let's just jump out. If we try to make that, we'll go back to selecting Utgard. And I can't remember what... We have to... I'm pretty sure he took one of the air titans. Father of Winters, maybe... Keeper of the Bridge, no. Let's just assume... No, I think it was the son. No, I think it had to have been the Father of Winters. And we went imprisoned. Well, one of the advantages to charged bodies is it's a non-incarnate bless. So, you know, and then he took some... how the heck did we get air shield? I don't know, maybe... Well, I think he went crazy on the... Does this work? Yeah, I think he went for air 10. But anyways, oh, sorry. 10 armor negating shock damage and the fatigue involved and maybe a stun is nice, but you only get it once. And it just doesn't scale. It doesn't scale at all. It becomes more and more irrelevant as the game goes on. Because definitely once people can start setting up a large AoE lightning resist, it's pretty trash. So I wouldn't bother with trying that one again. Definitely not. The other thing we really learned in this game is we weren't really paying attention, and during the preparation we allowed it to be, and took it without shock resist. Oh, ouch. On an indie, yeah. But I just found it underwhelming. Like I said, it did not scale very well. And it was pretty much garbage on my Nagas. So maybe that was me as well. Because I basically used my Nagas to take water. I just used Bandars to take the rest. So what Nagas I made from my capital here, I went straight south into the water and I took water. So charged bodies in the water was garbage. I would have been way better off with simple blesses like Reinvigoration. Well, and for Patala, I mean, it's really nice to have like Stat Bless and Reinvigoration and stuff for thugging, because I pretty much always, when I'm playing Patala or Bandar, I go for Dakini, one way or the other. You start stuffing low-level blesses on these things and they get really, really dangerous. And I think anybody who's ever really looked at Patala realizes that capital only, all these resources, you're just never going to have all that many Nagas, and then they're cold-blooded, and then they're slow as molasses.
Don't have a helmet.
Don't have a helmet. Take your pick. They're size 3. Yeah, they've got, quite a few attacks, but they're excellent in the water because all of that poison resist and armor works great for taking water. Works just fine. Of course, you're going to be competing with some other tough stuff like LA Atlantis or Joman or something. Still, I like them for getting in the water, but after that, you might as well just, go for Bandars. Either the sticks and stones or the big malls or whatever.
The Naga Megas are really nice though.
Oh,
Really
Naga
good.
Magi are stunning. Yeah. And I use a big mix. And not a lot of I don't use a lot of the Nagarajas, but they're really good commanders.
They're good for thugging as well.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
But I use a ton of Naginis. And the other thing I did in this game is I used, very deliberately, I used Moss Body point buffing very early. Took me a bit to get it timed just right, but once I did it, boy, did those Nagas ever start wiping things.
They hit hard enough to
the lack of the hat
kill light things.
on the sticks and stones Bandars. It is, but it's not huge because you're using them as archers mainly. If you want a melee line, I think you're best with the cudgels. I'm not...
Because they hit very hard. Even for size 3. That's
Headdress of the Bolt? No, I didn't. I'm not terribly fond of it. Let's just take a look at that thing. This thing? A buffalo isn't going to make much difference. If I'm making a thug, I like this. That is really... This is really cost...
The headdress.
The headdress? Yeah, but this is so cost effective. The lion pelt? That's a real
one
deal.
Of the better armors in the game.
The headdress as an assassin item, yeah, I suppose I could have made them for my Naginis, but I didn't roll out Naginis until this turn.
Yeah, and then you also have, you can do water bottles as Patala.
Well, that's
then
what I
they're better.
did. These are all water bottles, right? Water bottles and swarm. So I don't really need the buffalo.
Yeah, it's kind of. If you ever ran into like a strong thug that wasn't large enough to dodge a buffalo,
Yeah,
you could stack them, I guess,
Yeah.
and then that's something you could do. But
so I haven't particularly used the headdress, but I can see definitely, there's cases for it. There's definitely cases for it. Although I also find that, boy, you got a lot of things you want to have nature gems for. The number one is
right,
you're going to want a lot of
nature
vine
gems are
shields.
the easiest gem in the game to spend, almost.
I agree with you. The two big ones for thugging like this are vine shields and messenger boots. So I find I burn an awful lot of nature gems on those.
Yeah, just about everything is, once you get into it, is pretty easy to spend.
Exactly.
All of the different resources, but some of them, like air and astral, are easier to spend in combat, I find. Although for
Absolutely.
movement, they're pretty easy to spend as well.
Well, and death gems are pretty easy to burn fast in combat.
Right,
It's
yeah, they're all pretty easy. Like, it's
relatively,
you can
yeah.
find
Except-
uses for all of them.
except fire. You have to work a little harder.
No, I mean, you can take a fire one, get up to Phoenix power, and then spend 2 gems on a fire elemental.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
can do that with all of your fire ones. And you
Yeah.
burn through
Yeah, you burn
your
through a lot
fire
of
gems
gems,
in no
yeah.
time, right?
Okay.
And then you can also take a fire one and do cold distance or flame ward, and that's another easy way to spend all of your fire gems.
Cool.
And that's something you can't actually do with water one, which is why I think fire one is the
That's
better.
true. So I'm coming up on the 2 hours, and I've got to get together with my mother, who's a very senior lady. And I don't like to mess up her schedule. Thank you, everybody. Got really lively towards the last bit. Very exciting. Thanks, Laren, for throwing in some lively discussion topics. I do enjoy them. I don't want to get too. I try not to get too controversial when I'm online. I'm a little more controversial, not when I'm online, when I'm streaming and talking. I get more controversial in text, but I'm not afraid of controversy. So, take your pick. I have set up my schedule. I think you can find it on my Twitch front page. I've set it up for every weekday from 11 a.m. Mountain to 1 p.m. I'm going to try to do my very best to maintain that. I'm not going to stream on weekends except intermittently as it works, because a lot of weekends my son visits, and streaming when he's here isn't really appropriate. Well, it's not that it isn't appropriate, I just would rather focus on my son. And I just bought AI War, so I may try streaming some just starter AI War. Another thing is folks who want to, like, if you only found me because you dropped by Twitch, if you want to join this by voice, come and find us here on the Dominions Nexus Discord, and I host these on the voice chat in just under the general section. Alright, I think that's it. I think most folks know where to find me, so this will eventually go up onto YouTube. Take care, have a good day.